Today I'd like to welcome you to my totally not fake office where I'm going to be doing a Q&A and I'm going to be answering some questions about myself and my channel and maybe answer some things that some of you might have been wondering. So let's go ahead and let's get into it. So for the first question we have, who am I and what's my background? Well, my name's Alex and I've been fish keeping for several years now. I don't work any kind of job in the aquatics industry, but to keep it vague, I work in the aviation field. Second question, how long have I been fish keeping and what got me into it? When I was growing up, we had a fish tank in the house, but I didn't get my own tank until I got out of the army. When I lived in the barracks, I was never really allowed to have any kind of pets whatsoever, so when I got my own place, I didn't really have the space or time or responsibility for something like a dog or a cat. So I picked up a 20-gallon tank and I set it up for a betta fish. I started adding more fish and eventually I had a small community tank. Over time, I just started out wanting other fish that weren't compatible with my community, and then I got more tanks like a 55-gallon and everything just started to grow from there. Question 3. Why did I start a YouTube channel and what are my goals with it? I just really love this hobby and found YouTube as an outlet to showcase everything I'm doing with it, and I want to be able to educate and entertain others that are also into this kind of stuff. As far as my goals go, I'm currently getting close to 1,000 subscribers on the channel, and that's been my short-term milestone that I've been aiming for. I still find it hard to believe that any of my videos have any views, but as long as people keep watching, I'll keep making more content. Long term, I'd like for the channel to hit 100,000 subscribers and just reach a bigger audience so I can justify it and support being able to do bigger things in this hobby. There's a lot of ideas and things I'd like to do, but they all cost a lot of money, and in 2023, I can't justify spending a lot right now, but in the future, it would be really cool if the channel generated enough that I could at least pay for all my fish food. Question 4. If money wasn't an issue, what kind of fish tank would I have? I think about this all the time and the answer really changes every day. I want to have all kinds of different big tanks and ponds and that kind of stuff, but for today, I'll just say that I want to have the tank that's kind of like what you see at a Bass Pro Shop, except I want it to look like a realistic biotope with all kinds of rocks and wood and like actual substrate, not just like a concrete floor. I'd fill it with all kinds of monster fish too. I love monster fish. Question 5. What's the next big tank that I'm gonna buy? Well, I'm kind of at my limit of tanks that I can manage for now. I just built an awesome quarantine and grow out rack, and I think for now my plan is to rearrange my fish and make all the tanks that I have look better. My 125 is a community tank with lots of small fish, but I'd like to move them and turn them into like a planted South American tank or something. I've never planned on having cichlids, and now that I have 2 bigger cichlids in my Beischer tank, they've been making me want to get some more, but if I ever get more, they won't be going into that Beischer tank. Question 6. What's my favorite fish and my favorite tank that I have? Well, Beischer are my favorite type of fish. I just think that they're so cool and fascinating. I can't pick a specific favorite fish, but my oldest Enley is the fish that I've had the longest. My 180-gallon tank is kind of like my show tank, or like my display tank, whatever you want to call it. But all of my tanks are all different and they all showcase different things, and I can easily watch any of them for hours. Question 7. What's the deal with BioRock and Pond Guru? So I've been using all kinds of filter media and I think that there's pros and cons to all of them. I saw the videos and posts of other people talking about biohome media, so I watched a bunch of Pond Guru's videos on it and eventually decided I would try it out for myself, and I bought like 10 kilos of Biohome Ultimate and I've been using that in my 180-gallon tank. Fast forward some and I see Pond Guru developing a new type of biohome, and he was asking for people to help him test it out. So I reached out and he sent me a box of this new BioRock. I've been testing it for almost 5 months now, and I plan on doing a 6-month review on it as soon as I can. A lot of people were confused in the comments of my BioRock video, so to set a few things straight, I didn't take any money or payment to test the BioRock or make the video on it. No money changed hands, and I actually lost money doing this because I had to go out and buy everything for the saltwater aquarium that I used to test out the BioRock. I'm doing this because I want to see if it actually works, and I want to show people the honest results from someone that isn't making money off of it. When that tank hits 6 months old, I'm putting out a video whether it's good or bad. Richard from Pond Guru or anyone else has no idea what I'm going to say in my video. They don't get to see it before I publish it, and it's just going to be my honest results of having it for 6 months. Question 8. Why did I make the video about the snake situation in Florida? Yeah, so I got a lot of comments on that video. So I was pretty outraged when I saw the original video of the situation, and I saw the bigger picture on how it could get worse, and nobody I talked to even knew about it. So I thought my video could make a difference by raising awareness. That video has been viewed by almost 50,000 people, so I felt pretty good that I was able to help get the word out. There hasn't been that many changes with the situation so far, but there have been a few minor things, and whenever I see something big come out, I'm gonna make a part 2. Question 9. What are some bucket list fish that I want to have? I've always wanted some kind of platinum Beischer because I think they're really cool. Besides that, in the future, if I have the kind of tanks to house them, I'd want an Australian lungfish, some arowana, some peacock bass, any species of gar, and some big datnoids. I want stingrays too, but they're illegal where I live, so I think those are out of the question for now. Question 10. Where do I buy my fish or supplies? Some of my fish came from Petco, but I prefer going to my local fish stores and supporting them if I can. If there's certain food that I need, I check with my local stores first before I order from Amazon or somewhere online. Even if it costs me a little bit more, it's worth it to me. I think the local fish stores play a huge role in this hobby, and if you're in Georgia, my favorite stores to check out are going to be Premier Aquatics, Southern Aquatics, LFS, and Off the Hook. There are a few others, but I haven't been to all of them, so I can't speak for them. Question 11. What is my favorite public aquarium? I live in Georgia where we have the largest aquarium on this side of the planet, but my favorite aquarium has to be the Tennessee Aquarium because of its massive freshwater selection. I love the Georgia Aquarium, and I'm a huge fan of all the conservation and rehabilitation they've been doing, all their special programs that they have, but I'm just a bigger freshwater person and they don't have the kind of selection there that they do at the Tennessee Aquarium. If you know any good places to check out, let me know in the comments. Question 12. Are there any fish I won't keep? So one fish that I'd really like to keep, but realistically I'll never keep, is going to be a snakehead of any type. Over at Aquarium Adventures, he has an emperor snakehead and it's just incredible. It's like 2 to 3 feet and it's just a beautiful fish. Every type of snakehead is illegal in the United States, I'm pretty sure, so I don't think I'm going to get it. So I'll probably never get a gulper catfish. I think that they're pretty unique and cool, but like the one gimmick that they have is that their stomachs can expand so much, and a lot of people abuse that, and the way that they're kept by most people, it's just, I don't want to be associated with that kind of stuff. I feel like it's borderline fish abuse, and if you want to see some people that keep them responsibly, I recommend Brian Law has a good channel with a nice gulper catfish, and he does his best to feed it properly. I just don't support any of those videos that you see on like Facebook Reels or TikTok or any of those places where you see people feeding gulper catfish like giant koi and stuff. I can't approve that. Question 13. This one's gonna get me in some trouble, I think. What do I think about fish groups on Facebook? Oh, I can go on a rant about Facebook groups all day long. There's a lot of good groups and there's a lot of bad groups, but one of the biggest pages, I don't even want to say the name of it. They seem like a minefield sometimes. They can be full of fish police, and one thing that really irritates me is that when there's like a pretty simple question and it's answered within like the first 30 minutes to an hour, but over the course of the next 24 hours, the comment section just fills up with like 200 comments, and most of them are just repeating the same correct answer instead of just liking the first 1 or 2 posts that were correct. And then all the other responses are just like really blatantly wrong answers, but then they say something like, it's definitely this for sure, you know, that kind of thing. And that kind of thing is just, honestly, it's just dangerous and irresponsible when it comes to things like medication or fish disease discussions. When people are trying to diagnose something wrong with their fish and they're like, oh, that's ick for sure, and it's epistelis or something. Like, nah, it just really gets me, man. Question 14. Do I have a fish room or do I plan on making one? So most of my fish tanks are in my living room, but some are in my office, so I kind of call it my fish apartment. And yes, I have a 180-gallon tank in my apartment. The plan was to move into a house this year, but with how things ended up with the market lately, I pushed that back to another year, and hopefully things will work out next year. If I can, I'd really like to build out a basement fish room where I can run airlines and have plumbing and all kinds of racks with auto water changing and breeding some fish and things like that. I just can't do that right now. I see so many fish rooms online and I pick and choose the best parts of all of them, and I like make a little mental note to myself that I remember what I like about each one, what I don't like about each one, and things that I would want to do myself. Question 15. What do I think about saltwater tanks? So I used to not be that big of a fan of them, but I've really been learning a lot about them lately. I at least have a new appreciation for it. Working on the BioRock project has made me learn a whole lot about the other side of the hobby, and it's honestly just been really cool to have my kind of experience and then all of a sudden feel like I'm brand new to fish keeping all over again, and then to just deep dive into learning all about all kinds of new, cool, interesting things. I will definitely still prioritize freshwater tanks in the future, but having at least one saltwater tank has been really fun for me. Another thing I found is that it can be really complex and expensive and super time consuming, but it doesn't have to be that way. One thing I've been doing with my saltwater tank is that I've been keeping it pretty low tech and it's been running really good. I'd like to make a low tech saltwater setup video in the future when I'm able to organize my thoughts on it. Question 16. Will I do any collabs with any other fish keepers? So yeah, absolutely. I don't know any content creators in my area, but if you make videos or you know someone that does and you want us to do something together, let me know, hit me up, and we'll try to see if we can get something together. Question 17. Will I do tours of other people's fish rooms? That's a pretty popular thing on YouTube, and I do want to, and I know some people in my local fish club that they might be interested, but I'm not going to go and do anything until I know I'll do a good job with it. Because it's one thing if I just waste my own time here in my apartment, but I don't want to go to someone else's place and have like their whole like hobby, their whole like life's work in front of them, and then I don't showcase it right, I don't do it justice enough, and then it ends up not looking that good for however many people online see it. So when I'm ready to do those, I want to make sure I can truly do it the best I can. Question 18, am I open to doing any podcasts or live streams with other fish keepers? Yeah, so there's some live streams on Instagram I'm planning on doing soon, and there's a few live streams or podcasts here on YouTube that I'm interested in participating in. I've already had some people reach out to me and get me on some shows, so I'm gonna do it soon, I think. I just need to find the time outside of work and when other people are going live. Some of these people are on the other side of the country, some of these people are on the other side of the world, so I gotta line up all the schedules. Question 19, what do I feed my fish? So I like to give as much variety as possible. I have an assortment of different pellets and flakes that I feed as a normal meal. And then I give freeze-dried or frozen food on occasion to mix it up and give the fish something different. I like the Hikari Vibra Bites, and I've never had a fish that just didn't like them. The only fish that I have that don't get them are my bigger bichir, but that's because the Vibra Bites, they're just too small for them to find, and they don't really eat them because they're small and the bites are huge. When they were smaller, they all had Vibra Bites, so, you know, if they had bigger Vibra Bites, I'd probably feed them. They do have, what are they called? Tropical sticks. I have those, and they eat them. I also like Hikari pellets, like Cichlid Gold and Cichlid Staple, and the Massivore pellets, but I've got some pretty big issues with them I just can't look past. A lot of people don't notice because they don't feed as much. When you start having to feed a lot of Massivore at once, when you put like a big handful in there, it'll make your whole room smell bad. My whole apartment will start to stink, and I mean, I don't want that. I can't have my whole place smelling bad. So to get around this, I've replaced all my Hikari Massivore and Carnivore pellets with the Northfin Carnivore pellets. I feed the jumbo size, and all of my bigger fish seem to love the Northfin stuff just as much, and it doesn't make my whole place stink, so I've been buying a ton of that stuff. I'm not sponsored by Northfin like everyone seems to be right now, but if Northfin wants to send me something, I'm all for it. I pay so much money for Northfin food. Alright, I know this was something a little different, but I know there's some people that would be interested in this kind of stuff, so if you could, please leave a comment down below with what questions you want answered next time I do some kind of Q&A like this, and I'll go through them, I promise, and next time I do a Q&A, we'll go through all those comments and try to get everything answered. Thanks everyone for sticking around. I'll see you in the next one.